Hello, hello, it's Julie Davison from juliedavison.com. Welcome to Sunday Stamping with Susan and Julie Part 1. It is Sunday, May 4th, 2025. May the 4th be with you. If you are a Star Wars fan, I'm so happy you are joining us this week. We've got some really fun cards to share with you, and mine's a really cool interactive fun fold card. So let's turn the camera around to the desktop and get started. All right, we are so excited because the Everyday Arches dies are back in stock, and we've been wanting to showcase these dies for a couple weeks at least, and we've been putting it off because you haven't been able to order them, but now they're back. These were originally released in January with a coordinating stamp set called Everyday Arches, and then in March, in the online exclusive, Stampin' Up! Released a coordinating stamp set called Arched Wishes. And so you can get both of these in the online store right now, and so we wanted to showcase the Arched Wishes stamp set and how they work so nicely with these versatile arch dies. I think you can use these arch dies with just everything. I think they're like the new shape, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
So the March online exclusives, we've got those. I'll have this flyer in the video description, and you can find the Arch Wishes there on the last page. We've got some new online exclusives coming on Tuesday, as well as some brand new product coming on Tuesday. And so I wanted to incorporate a little sneak peek as well. So I'm using the Turtley Awesome. I can't not smile saying Turtley.
I love this sweet. Oh my God.
The Turtley Awesome stamp set. And what's the name of this paper? Do you remember?
I'm sorry?
Do you remember the name of this paper?
You know what? I can tell you real quick. I want to say it's Totally Awesome, but
that's the stamp set. I think Turtley Cute. This is a 12 by 12 designer paper.
Totally Cute.
Yes, Turtley Cute. All right. It's a 12 by 12 designer paper, and it's got totally cute turtles. And this reminds me of the Zoo Crew paper that we had a few years ago, because there are like different themes on each paper. So we have like birthday turtles, and we have musical turtles, and we have outdoor turtles, and we have summer turtles, and we have spring, like outdoor bird watching turtles. And then we've got a great page that has vignettes and different scenes that you can cut apart. And of course, we've got our B-sides. So we've got some turtle patterns, we've got some stripes, some spots, some music notes to mix and match. And I've already been having so much fun with the turtles. Here's one that I cut apart, one of those vignettes, and one of the turtles from the musical Turtles, and I created this one. I also made one with a little frame, and this is one of the summer turtles. It's okay to take it slow. He's even sunburned. And then I die cut from the designer paper and did this one with the turtle and the birds. There's a coordinating embossing folder in this suite. Now we're going to showcase this suite another time, and so we'll share some more project ideas with you. If you would like just a sampling of the turtle designer paper, make sure you sign up for my product share by Tuesday. That's the last day to sign up, and you can get a sample of all the new paper from the May online exclusives and from the new annual catalog, and a little bit of all the ribbon. And so it's just a fun way to kind of update your paper crafting collection without like buying everything. So if you're interested, make sure that you check this out and reserve your spot by Tuesday, May 6th, so you can get one of my product shares. I am in a little time crunch to get those all out and ready for you before we leave for our Stampin' Up! Incentive trip. So make sure you sign up by Tuesday, because I have to cut it off after that. All right, let's get started. I am looking for a little redemption with today's card. I created this one with the whimsical trees a few years ago, and when I did it in a video, it was very like, let's figure this out together. And it was a little rough around the edges. And so this is a slider easel card. Have you seen this before, Mom?
You know, I don't remember it, but gosh darn, it's cute.
Well, I think you're gonna remember it after today. So you can see it's a little rough. I adjusted some measurements and some things. So we're gonna make a new version of the slider easel card today using these new products, the Arched Wishes and the Turtly Awesome. And so I have fussy cut a couple birthday images to go with our birthday set. I have another little image of a birthday cake. I have a designer paper frame. So this is one of the stripe patterns from that Turtly Cute paper. And I pulled the colors from today's card from the designer paper. It's got those stripes in balmy blue, flirty flamingo, petal pink, a little daffodil delight, and some poppy parade. And so I chose poppy parade for the card base. And I can't decide on the arch to go in the middle. So Mom, you're gonna have to decide if we should go with blue or if we should go with yellow. And so either one is going to have a turtle, which also, by the way, you're gonna have to decide.
I like the yellow.
Okay.
And
The
boy, oh
sentiment on
boy.
the top is going to be Make-A-Wish. So I feel like the cake kind of goes, but
Yeah,
I mean,
go do it since I know that. Yes,
okay.
absolutely. Make a wish.
All right. So we got yellow.
Yes.
Perfect. All right, let me go over the sizes for you. So our card base we're starting with is 4 1/4 by 11 inches. So it's just a regular long half sheet or cardstock. And we're going to do some fancy cutting, and I'm going to walk you through it, and it's going to be okay. So let's get out the paper cutter. It's intimidating to use the paper cutter in fancy ways. I did a score line ahead of time at 5 1/2, so it's like a regular card front. And so then we're going to take and we're going to cut at 1 inch from each side, and we're going to cut from 1 to 4 1/2. And so let's start with that first. So I'm using my my line over here, 1 inch, and I'm going to use my ruler over here to cut from 1 inch down to 4 1/2. Okay, and then I'm going to use the 1 inch over here, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to cut from 1 inch down to 4 1/2. Now, I've said this before, but just a reminder, on the cutting blade, there's a line. That's where the blade is cutting. So that line is what you want to line up on your ruler. So 1 down to 4 1/2. Okay, that was easy, right?
Sure.
we have 2 parallel slits in the front of the card, and for this card the fold is actually going to be the bottom of the card, and because we're going to pull up, the opening is going to be the top. So now as we are, I probably wrote it wrong on here. Let me remind myself. Okay, so we want to, on the side closest to the opening, we're going to score, and I'm going to score between those lines, lining up at 1 inch. Again, that's kind of our magic, 1 inch. Then I'm going to score between the cut lines, so in that span. And then, so score by the cut and cut by the score. That's how you're going to remember. So then this gets lined up at 1 inch. It'll be in the video description too. Score by the cut, cut by the score.
Okay.
Not too bad, right?
No?
Okay. Finish that cut there. Okay. Now one more score line, and we're going to put that right in the middle. So our card front is 5 1/2. Half of 5 1/2 is 2 3/4. So we're going to bring our cardstock to 2 3/4 and then score the span. All right. So we can go ahead and like
Okay.
Fold on those lines. Okay, making sense. Now I have our designer paper frame already cut. It's 4 by 5 1/4, and I took my paper trim and I just did some fancy cutting. I lined it up at 7/8 inch instead of 1 inch, and I cut the center out. So 7/8 inch down, you know, so there's a 7/8 inch all the way around, and then this should fit right inside our thing. It looks like we have a very tight little fit here. Maybe there's just, I'm just going to kind of shave that corner. Okay, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. If you want to, you could put the designer paper down first. On my original card, I wanted this to be part of the card front. I wanted it to be a different color, but we're going to cover that completely with the arch today, and so I'm not worried about it. So you could put the designer paper on and then cut so that you don't have to make a frame. It's up to you. So let's go ahead and add that frame now. Okay. Easy peasy. Before I forget, because I always forget this part, we're going to make a little notch at the top using the 1 3/4 inch circle punch. And this is just to kind of have an easier grab at the slider. So I'm just kind of centering that and doing a little arch. And I would like to just go ahead and do the back side too. It's a little much to do them at the same time. So I punch one and then use the pencil and punch the second one. The punches aren't designed to punch through all of that at once. So punch one at a time and protect your punch and your hand. Okay, let's see. Now we've got some other pieces here. Our slider piece that's going to come out the top is 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. I'm using thick cardstock because it's not layered, and I just want it to be nice and sturdy. Now, if you wanted to, you could layer this piece. You could have a white piece that's 3 inches by 4 1/4, and then layer it onto another color cardstock that's 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. I'm choosing just to do the white. So if you're doing that, then make sure that you're doing thick white. Okay, then on the inside of the card is going to have a message. I'm using regular white here. And this piece is 3 inches by 4 inches. One of the mistakes I made on the card when I made it before is that that piece was too small and the slider kept getting stuck on it. And so by making that piece bigger, and gluing it down, then we don't have to worry about the slider getting stuck on it. So it's really a lot bigger than it needs to be, but it's going to keep everything smooth. So I'm just gluing that down roughly in the center. We're only going to see a small window of it, so it doesn't matter if it's perfectly straight in the center. And then our last piece is the piece that's going to connect the slider to the card front. And so this is 2 inches by 2 inches scored at 1. And this doesn't have to be exactly this size. I actually made it wider so that it'd be a little more stabilizing. Essentially, you just need a piece that's going to be an L, and it's going to adhere to the back of this, and then it's going to adhere to the slider, and that's going to be the mechanism. So let's go ahead and attach that. We're using tear and tape a lot today. Anytime you have like a card like this that has like lots of moving pieces, tear and tape is a good option to keep it all together. You still there, Mom?
I am.
Okay.
I'm enjoying. This is now kind of ringing a bell.
All right. So the fold of this piece, I'm like double checking my card again. The fold of this piece is going to attach to the cut end here. So it's sticking with our theme of like opposites and opposites. So the fold next to the cut end. And then we can, let's hold off before we put that together, and let's do some stamping on both of our pieces. So right here, when this opens up, I want it to have another message that is revealed. So I'm going to use the Hooray from Turtly Awesome, and I'm also using the Hope Your Birthday is Turtly Awesome. And let's put that here. And then, I don't know, I had this little, when you were doing your video, I was like, oh yeah, that's supposed to be like the candle flame. Now I'm wondering if I should do like the confetti or the star around the hooray. Which one do you prefer?
Ooh. Let's do the confetti.
Okay. Ooh, I haven't used this one yet. I'm going to forego the sticker for now, for time's sake. And we'll use our Daffodil Delight ink pad. And stamp some confetti. Hooray. And then over here, on our part that's going to pull out our slider, we're going to stamp Hope Your Birthday is Turtly Awesome. We want to make sure to put it down a little bit so that it's not showing up in our little notch. And then I'm going to leave some room underneath for writing a message. While we're stamping, we're going to stamp on our arch. And let me grab my grid paper. So on our arch, we're going to use Make a Wish from the Arched Wishes. It fits so nicely right there in the arch. And then we're going to also use the streamers from...
Julie, did you tell us what size arch you use?
I didn't. That's a good question. I will compare the dies and show you in just a moment. So I'm going to do some streamers here. Make a Wish.
I always forget things like that, little detail.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at these arches. I also need to do a little bit of trimming because our arch is kind of big. So originally I used a smaller one, and what I found was that the corners could be visible, so I used the bigger one, and this one is 4 4¼ tall and 3 inches wide. So 4¼ tall by 3 inches wide. I think it's like the 4th largest one.
3 inches.
We have 10 different size arches, which I think is just so awesome. Okay, I did mention I want to trim just a little bit off of this so that it can be a little more centered in my card. So I'm trimming 1/4 inch, and unfortunately that means I'm losing the stitched edges, but everyone's going to be so focused on the cute turtle that it'll be okay.
You were correct, 4th largest.
Yeah, okay, good. And we chose to have our, oh, he's so cute. He's so cute. I was thinking, I'm going to do it. A little bit more confetti around our turtle here. There, just a little something more. And we're going to use some dimensionals to add our fussy cut. Now, some of the dies in the turtle set do die cut the designer paper, but pretty much all the specialty turtles that are like wearing hats and holding things don't coordinate with the die. So they've got to be fussy cut. But there's a lot of different options for the fussy cutting, which I think is really fun. Okay, so I cut that one out thinking maybe I'd put it here. We'll see if we have room. Let's get our card put together. We're going to start by, oh, actually, before we do that, I need to add some ribbon to the top of this. So I'm going to center the slider card and then close it and use a little pencil to make a mark in the center of that notch. And then I'm using, also from the March online exclusives, this cute little punch pack. It's called Hole Punch Assortment, and I'm going to create a slot for our ribbon so that we can pull the slider up. And so for the ribbon, I'm bringing in some of this amazing iridescent striped ribbon. This is one of my favorites. I just think it's so versatile, and it doesn't compete with other colors in the card. There is a new version of this one that's coming out in the May online exclusives that's gold. It's beautiful. So we're just going to add a ribbon pull. So that it's clear how to open the card. Okay. Now with our slider centered at the top, we're going to adhere this part to the bottom of the slider. So I'm just going to set that down, take the tear and tape off, fold over my overedge there. Okay, so center this one and kind of hold it down. Then we're going to close the card and allow that flap to adhere to the slider. So the slider is only attached right there. And when we have the card closed on the side and you pull that up,
Aww.
it pulls up the easel. I've left lots of room here for tear and tape to close the card. So let's do that now. My original card, the slider piece was a little bit wider, and so it was just having some issues. So I think making it just a little bit smaller makes it easier to move smoothly.
Good tip.
All right, I want this to stay kind of just right. So I'm going to actually close it like the opposite way here. That's actually the back of the card. There's the front again. And so when we pull it up, we have our easel. And now the arch is going to attach to the bottom part of the easel. It is going to cover the entire bottom part. And so we want to be careful. If you put adhesive in the back of here, you don't want any adhesive right there. So you want to just put the adhesive onto the card base so that you don't accidentally put too much adhesive on the arch. Kind of fold over, get back in there. So keep it in that bottom section. And then the bottom of the arch is going to line up with the bottom of that slider piece. Oh no. We have just corners there. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have trimmed the arch, or maybe I trimmed too much. So I guess my suggestion there is to trim just like less than 1/4 inch. And then I would have been a little higher. An alternative here is you could add some designer paper to the top of that flap. And if you put your designer paper on before you cut your frame, then you don't have to worry about the red showing. Here we go. Make a wish. Hooray! Hope your birthday is totally awesome.
That is awesome.
We need some bling though, don't we?
Oh, we do.
What kind of bling should we put on this card?
Well,
I have some party dots, which have pool party to bring in some of that color. I also have the set Starburst. I have some.
you have the totally awesome embellishments.
I do. These are all like green. So I don't know. What do you think? Do they go with the paper?
Yeah, I think.
Maybe that lighter blue one, or do you like a different?
Oof. All these decisions.
I know. Making you work today. Let's try these blue ones. The blue, I think these are Pool Party and the stripe is Balmy Blue, but I think that they're close enough.
Sure.
Do you like that?
Yeah.
Get over there. Okay. So many options for bling. You can't go wrong.
No?
So make a wish. And then we have our sliders.
So cute.
Yay! I think I got redemption. I think it worked out okay. And I forgot to show you, I had 2 cards using the arched wishes that I wanted to show you really quick. This is one I made inspired by Barb Price. She did a swap card that had kind of that little side tower and then a flap that opens. And so I used the Bright and Beautiful designer paper with the arches and the butterflies. And the cheers comes from that long arch. And I just stamped it 3 times. Cheers, cheers, cheers. And then this is a swap card from Sandy Carlson. And she used some of the On The Go designer paper, another March online exclusive, with strawberry slush and a little paper piecing for the Shy Shamrock. That's Shy Shamrock, right? Yeah. Cupcake wrapper. So so much fun, and Mom's got a really great project to share with you using the arched wishes stamp set and the arched everyday arches dies that you are absolutely going to love. So we should head over to her channel. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and Mom's so you don't miss out on future Sunday stamping videos. And we will see you over in the chat on Mom's video. Click right in the middle of the screen or check out the link in the video description.
See y'all there in just a few.
All right. Thanks for joining me, Mom. We'll see you soon, everybody.
Anytime, babe.
Bye.